Rahul, we heard what the BJP spokesperson has to say. So, of course, this comes in light of rising or fast approaching inflation, rising costs of commodities at a time like this when Indians are working with a small budget. This price cut, or rather excise duty cut, which eventually will lead to a price cut in diesel and petrol prices, will come as a huge relief for the common man at this point. What's to look forward to, Rahul? A quick word.
Nabila, one should, when a government announces at a time when fuel prices are very high and the government announces a cut, and it also says that it is going to incur a 1 lakh crore rupee loss, revenue loss because of this measure. The fact is it should not be looked at from the narrow prism of the drop in prices. High fuel prices have a cascading impact. They have a much wider footprint in terms of negative impact than mere price rise. See, for what example, if the fuel prices are too high, at that time people are discouraged to buy motor vehicles, for example, automobiles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers and others. And what does that do? That eventually means that the demand drops. So what happens, the cascading impact is the companies cut down production. Cutting down production for a long period of time has an impact on labor, capital investments. For example, a farmer, if he's using diesel in his tractors, in his water pumps and others, that has an impact that his cost is going high. So the profitability of agriculture, which is the largest sustaining ecosystem in the country in terms of economic activity, it will have a negative impact on their budgets. So the people they employ and all that element or the kind of sowing they do, that goes down. Remember that because of the heat wave, we already have a situation where the wheat crop generation is going to be 3% lesser than what it was last year or was expected. It has a much deeper impact. Price cuts will have a much deeper impact than mere cooling down the prices. One also hopes, Nabila, now is that the center has reduced its excise duty component. If the states respond with a minor cut, there could be a deeper reduction in fuel prices, and that may bring much more relief. Remember, last time around when the center in November had announced 10 and 5 rupee cut in diesel and petrol prices, at that time, BJP ruled states and states like Odisha and others had gone in for a corresponding reduction as far as their own VAT is concerned. But several states had not. And these states were largely opposition-ruled states, and there was a tremendous amount of tu-tu-me-me between the center, BJP, and the opposition-ruled states, that why aren't you providing relief to the public? Now there will be definitely added pressure on states also, which had not reduced their VAT component last time around in November, that see the center since November last has reduced the prices of petrol by almost 18, excise component 18 rupees. And that is why there could well be pressure, and that could bring down relief, bring up the level of relief as far as the common man is concerned. I think very important in this is the additional subsidy to farmers that will also help the farmers in a difficult time. The subsidy in Ujjwala is a strong move by the government because if it is only for Ujjwala also, they are the poorest of the poor for whom LPG have come in as something that they have never aspired for. In that segment, the demand of LPG had virtually gone down by several percentages. And that's what the government would like to revive. Because remember, if several segments stop consuming certain things, that is not good news as far as the economic overall growth is concerned. And also, it will reduce, this move very importantly, Nabila, will reduce the pressure on the RBI also. Because if there is a cooling down in inflation now, then the RBI will have lesser pressure as far as the repo rates are concerned. Remember, the experts, since the last mid-circle meeting, Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the RBI, experts have been saying that there could well be a reduction in repo rate by 75 to 100 basis points. And that would have meant that somewhere the lending rates would have fallen too much and the profitability of the banks and several other economic questions would have arisen. So I think this could, because of this, if there is a cooling in prices overall in the country, inflation levels goes down, then the RBI pressures on the RBI and the banking systems will also go down.
Rahul, we're looking at essential commodities at this point, the prices of which have skyrocketed. At a time like that, petrol, diesel prices coming down would really eventually, possibly bring down the cost of several essential commodities too. That's the belief that the common man has. Do you think that would have an effect on that front?
Yes, Nabila, that's a good question. See, it will have a direct impact. Remember, I'll tell you something very interesting. Let's take it away from essential commodities. Electricity is something that is a right, virtually should be a right today. Now, what was happening, that because of the rising fuel costs, the pressure on coal was increasing. Since the coal prices abroad are high, the import of coal was going down. And we had a crisis that because of the high fuel prices, the sustainability in terms of price of hauling coal was also going down. And that is where there were shortages of electricity. Shortage of electricity means drop in manufacture, additional manufacturing costs, additional cost to the consumers because people have to resort to generators and other elements. That will get impacted. For example, say the rising prices of wheat over the last few months. Now that is another crisis, that there is no shortage in India as far as food grain or wheat is concerned. There is absolutely no shortage. The output may go down this year because of the heat wave, but that's not really going to dent as far as India's capability to sustain or feed its 1.3 billion people. The fact is that the prices have gone up because of high fuel prices. There is, of course, definitely a bit of a profiteering, but high prices are a big reason why wheat prices or flour prices have gone up in the market. That would lead to a bit of cooling down. The vegetables people buy on a daily basis, they, for example, onion, tomatoes, and several others come from as far as Maharashtra and several other states. That hauling through trucks or by the road transport definitely had an impact on high prices as far as sale of products in Delhi and northern India is concerned. That will go down. If the manufacturers are paying less for generating whatever they are producing, I think that cooling down impact, not immediately, but over a certain period of time, that cooling down impact can be seen. And that's why I add here, if states also contribute with a small or marginal cut as far as their own VAT duties is concerned, that will definitely have an impact and bring good news to the Aam Aadmi in coming future.